Well. Welcome to this special edition of Uncommon Commentators presented by Saying Create Media. You know, this is your host, Jay Holloway, aka Black Man Joy on Twitter. And everywhere else on TikTok, wherever you want to follow me. But I came in real quick to record this video because of my favorite football team, the Bears, are in shambles. It's just it's like the best reality TV show right now on TV. And it's just a shit show right now, all across the board. Everything that's going on in the media, things being said about the Bears, things being said about the quarterback Caleb Williams. And enough is enough. It's just a lot of lies. I see people playing on both sides of the fence. People saying one thing last year, people saying one thing this year, especially what's going on with the Bears in the last 3 games since the bye. But before we even get there, I want to start with how we got here. And I see a lot of people talking about Lovey Smith around everywhere. And I'm going to say it like this. I love Lovey Smith, and he was still like a company guy. Like, he wasn't a threat to them. They felt like he was nice enough that to the point he's going to keep the ship going, but he's not going to make no noise in the front office. But with that being said, that he went to the Super Bowl in 06, and everybody always hang their hat on like he got fired. What year was that? I forget what year that was. 2012, when they went 10-6. They didn't make the playoffs, and he got fired. But people forget, from the Super Bowl in 2006, man, from 07 2012, they only made the playoffs one time. And that was the 2010 season when it went to the NFC Championship against the Packers, and the whole story. Jake Cutler, people say he took himself out and he was just on the bike, and then the rest is history. After that season, I don't care about going away from Lovey. I never did. But the thing is, and if you follow me all these years, or however you sort of follow me, you know that I'm consistent with this. Like, I don't care about changes being made to the coach, especially if we need a new voice. But you can't pick the wrong coach. So I feel like the same thing the Bears did. The Cubs kind of did the same thing after Joe Madden. The who else? The Bulls did the same thing basically after Tips. You probably need a new voice, but you didn't do you made the wrong decisions. And I feel like the Bears have done that. So, like, I saw something crazy on the internet, a stat like the George McCaskey era. It's been 12 years after Lovey. He's went through 3 GMs, 4 head coaches, 10 offensive coordinators, and 0 playoff wins. 0. How insane is that? Like, it's just, you went through, you didn't have John Fox, you didn't have Mark. First of all, leaving Lovey Smith for Mark Trestman is just insane. And you had Bruce Arians, who wanted to come here at that time. You had all that. So it just didn't make no sense, trying to go with the offensive guru. But you had John Fox, who was just a lame duck, who was just collecting a check here. That was some of the worst years here, the John Fox era. It was just really bad. And then you had Matt Nagy, which we thought we had, then boom. And then once again, you do it again, and you go with Matt Eberflus, and that's why we keep it going from there. Like, you go get Matt Eberflus. First of all, you bring in Ryan Poles. You have Kevin Warren come in. We're going to get to him later about the stadium stuff too. But you bring Ryan Poles come in, and then his first hire is Matt Eberflus. And this is under, part of the George McCaskey era. No one knows who he is. If you didn't watch Hard Knocks, you don't even know he was the defensive coordinator for the Colts. You wouldn't even know who he really was. So that was already a strange hire right there for the first one. So, and then even knowing like the other coaches that they was looking at, like Dan Quinn wanted to come here, who we all know is the head coach of the Commanders now, and they rolling. So you didn't go with that one. You went with Matt Eberflus, I should say. So now we're rocking and rolling. We got Matt Eberflus. I can't remember the timeline. I don't think it was it? Oh yeah, Matt Nagy era had Justin. Flus and Poles inherited Justin. That's right. I can remember the timeline. So they inherited Justin Fields, and basically, like, they just trying to rebuild his whole roster. The roster was terrible from Ryan Page. You had to get rid of Khalil Mack. You had Eddie Jackson. You had all these contracts on there. Akeem Hicks. You had all this. It's just bad contracts they had to get rid of. So you had rebuilt the roster. You had Roquan Smith. You traded and you started getting the pieces you wanted for your defense, and it still really wasn't nothing for the offense. We're missing with the offensive coordinator. Man, you had Luke Getzey, or I think it was Bevel was one. Like they just was not playing to Justin's strengths, and the offensive line was so bad. Like you didn't like. I know Ryan Post had to rebuild it, but it was as bad. So I will say this: Justin did never have his fair shake at all with the Bears at all. I will say that, and two things can be true. We're gonna get there, but I don't think the Bears gave him a fair shake. But you had once again the Bears could not get an offensive coordinator. They couldn't pick the right one, so you got Justin running for his life. And luckily, Justin is an elite athlete because he probably would have got murdered behind the offensive line. And one key thing I will say, Justin did say that he was always confused. Like I wouldn't say confused, but the coaches would confuse him and make him overthink, and they wasn't making things easy for him. And one thing you can say about Jaden Daniels, when people want to talk about, it's an easy offense, whatever, but Cliff is making it easy for him. Is making his rookie quarterback comfortable. That's what you're supposed to do. That is what coaching does. So now, fast forward, last season, Justin and the Bears had a rough season, but they still won 7 games, and they was rocking and rolling. At one point, they was leading the league in scoring. They was rocking and rolling. They was losing a bunch of close games, and it's just bad. So now, I'm still at this point. I'm a Bears fan. I'm still going for Justin. I want Justin here. I think we can build around Justin. If you got 2 first-round draft picks, you can go that route. You can go build inside out, another O line, more weapons, whatever you got to do. But then when it kept saying, a lot of people kept saying, you guys have to trade. You got to trade Justin. I saw it in the media. I saw it on Twitter. You got to, even in the barbershops, you got to trade. I wouldn't say the barbershops. A lot of barbershops didn't want Caleb for other reasons. It wasn't even on the field play, but we get to that. But it was like, trade Justin. You got to get rid of him. He's not a good quarterback. He's this. He can't throw. Yeah, yada. And I was seeing stuff people were saying it was certain things he couldn't do. He barely threw left. He held the ball too long. He couldn't go through progressions. He didn't know how to go through all that. He couldn't really control the line of scrimmage. So, and then also know it's not all his fault. That is also on coaching. So we get now they trade him. It's a lot of animosity in the city. You got a broken down between people who want Justin and people. It's Caleb. Are you Bears fans or not? So it's like people was like already is praying on his downfall, talking about Caleb for the Bears, even because once they trade Justin, we know what's about to happen. We're going to get Caleb. So we get Caleb. Everything is going on, and I think this right here is where we go wrong in sports media across the board. Is that where we are head over heels? We will say all type of stuff to have this person up here, this player up here, and then it will make people have expectations. And then once they don't see all the stuff you saw for a game or two or whatever, or if you was just being outlandish about it, is that they don't think this player is not good. This person can't do that. So we we have all this going into the season. The Bears get the #1 pick. Bears get all these weapons. You resign. You get DeAndre Swift. You go get Keenan Allen. You sign DJ Moore. You draft Roma Dunze, which I was not. I like Roma Dunze, but if you follow me, I'm always you have to build inside out. I wanted another offensive lineman, something D line or something that you had to, but more particularly the offensive line. I really wanted something. You needed something, and so that happened. So I didn't like none of that. But you got all this stuff coming in, and I always said the last thing you need to do was fire Flus, and I feel like that was the last thing in the rebuild. But even that, Flu's going to hire what's my man? We just fired him, Shane Waldron. Like it was just even telling when you heard ex player talking about the offensive coordinator, and this is what we have to going into the season. But I still was optimistic about the season coming in here when you got Shane Waldron having Flus. I felt like even making the playoffs with this team, you had to get rid of Flus. So the season started off shaky. Caleb was trying to do all he could to show his strong arm and doing all that, firing it all in. Still got the win. Defense playing outstanding. I will give Flus that the defense does play hard and they do play good. When everybody's healthy, they do play good. But you have all this going on, and you go the next week. We play bad, horrible against the Texans. We still got a chance to win that game. Next week against the Colts, some of the worst play calling I ever seen. We still have a chance to win. Speed options and shit on fourth down, not using your running back, all that type of crazy shit. Then the next game, who do we have? I can get the Rams, but we start seeing stuff come together. You start seeing things. You start seeing the passes. Oh, you got the Panthers, you got the Rams, you have the and the Jaguar. You start seeing Caleb. You see the confidence. You see the throws. You see why he's number one. You seeing all this going. You see all this happening. You see him controlling the line of scrimmage. You seeing him learning. You seeing him getting a rhythm. You see him. You see all this happening. Then we fast forward to the game against the Jaguars in London. I mean, wow, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. That was just a bad. He got too cocky. Probably should have had 5 touchdowns, maybe even 6. But he was just you was the passes to Keenan Allen, the back shoulders, the play calling by Shane Waldron, the double reverse screen, whatever it was, then the tight end seam to Cole Kmet up to the middle for a touchdown. Some of the best play calling scene. I'm like, wow. But we go into we whoop their ass basically, kind of like a semi-national TV game with it being in the morning, and that's the only game that's going on. But we go into the bye week, everybody is blowing smoke up our ass, and that was the one thing I was scared about. We had injuries, so it helped, but people was blowing smoke up our ass for 2 weeks, saying how good we could be. We can, if we go 3-0, 2-1 in the next 3 games, we can make this run. We could probably can sneak in for the playoffs. I was drinking some of that Kool-Aid too. I ain't gonna lie, with the defense playing like that, and I know, and Caleb is still that one. We got one. But we come out, and then what happened in Washington was insane. The play calling was bad. But I will say this though. Caleb does not get off the hook. Caleb does hold the ball long. He does have rookie mistakes. That's what rookie does, especially in what is this 10 games in? We in now? What are we for 8 games, 9 games into the season? They're still gonna make rookie mistakes, but this is also where coaching comes in. At coaching helps with that. Coaching helps you with not making those crazy mistakes. Coaching helps with you not trying to make the big play all the time. Go to the check down. Don't hold too long. Don't try to outrun. You're not in college, and that's another thing about his speed. People made it seem like he's like fat, like super fast. I feel like he's a runner like like Mahomes. He's not running around to or get away. He's running around to extend the play. So it's like I think college recruiter, not recall, but like college analysts and draft analysts, I think they put a little bit too much on Caleb's speed. But he's doing all this stuff. But and then the O line, sometimes he does make the O line look bad. Sometimes he does have time, and then he act like he doesn't. But sometimes when you get hit all the time, you just never know when you actually do have a clean pocket. So it goes hand in hand. So I don't think Caleb gets away from any criticism at all because we have seen him do this and kill the whole Justin and Caleb thing. Justin is on another team, not even starting. And when he was start playing, it was the same stuff. That defense really what kept him in the game. Let's stop that. Caleb already does things Justin can't even do. So I do think we have a quarterback, but it just looks bad. So we played bad in that game, and Caleb plays a crazy fourth quarter in that game against the Commanders. We come back, we take the lead. I don't know if I can't even believe we even held the Commanders to 12 points. Defense played crazy, but they still didn't get no turnovers, but they still held that offense to 12. So then we get to the Commanders, the Hail Mary situation, just all bad. It's just people talking crazy and the players saying stuff in the media. It just alluding to things. Flus don't know what he's doing. And then the craziest thing that came out of that is just like the Tyree Stevenson thing, and everybody looks unprepared. We go through all this a hell week of shit. I didn't want to listen to no sports media. We get to that week, we got the Cardinals. I don't know what the fuck happened. We came out the Cardinal game. That looked so bad. We're giving up runs late. We just doing all type of crazy shit. Next thing I know, it's just it's just haywire everywhere. The stat that comes out is that Flus is 0-18 on road games on Sunday. He has never won a game on the road. How is that possible? How is that possible when majority of your games is played on a Sunday? You ain't never won a road game? It's just the blown leads and all that stuff is just bad. So he wasn't fired then. We all said like we know the Bears don't fire doing nothing like that crazy, but in the middle of the season, they will get rid of a coordinator. They will do that. So we come to this fast forward to this Sunday against the Patriots, god awful. Caleb looking bad, like he's regressing. Just O line. Every time you look up, Tevin Jenkins hurt. Somebody's hurting the O line. Players not running routes. Same routes being ran. Screens galore all the time. Receivers not doing blocking. Caleb holding on to the ball. Receivers dropping balls. Caleb overthrowing people. It's just looking bad. And that when coaching comes in. Coaching helps with this. Coaching helps you reel that rookie in. Coaches get everything together. Coaches keep the ship going. And right now, that shit is half on fire. And then the news came out that Shane Waldron got fired. It's a weak ass move. I really believe they should just fire everybody. But then you promote somebody who was the OC for the Carolina Panthers, and they were the bottom of everything in offense. So that's not optimistic. I'm not going to be optimistic about this offense looking any better going into the schedule that we have, starting with our division play, and then also have our non-division teams like the Niners and the Seahawks. And I think there's somebody else in there. I can't remember, but it's just looking bad. And then you got stuff leaking out saying veterans want Bajan to play now. They want him to bench Caleb. It's all this stuff going on. Caleb is getting crushed in the media, crushed online on Twitter. I know it's just Twitter, but it's still they're getting crushed everywhere. TikTok, and no one's saying a word. And Ryan Poles ain't came out and said a goddamn thing. Like he's been really quiet since the camp. I know he talked in London, but he need to come out and say something. The ship is half on fire. He ain't said nothing. His quarterback is getting killed. You don't fire the coach. The coach don't know what the fuck he's doing. It's just all bad all the way around. And it's time for people. For us, I'm looking at polls like, how did you think? What was this plan of building? What was this plan of this offensive line? Like you offensive line, that was the thing you were sticking on. Like you sticking your hat on. Like this, you know how to build this. And we haven't seen anything. You're going to get lame duck offensive linemen. You're waiting till last rounds to get offensive linemen. You're looking for people who don't want these offensive linemen. If people don't want the offensive linemen, why would you go get them as a starter? You're not even trying to get them for depth. You're going to get them as starters, and that's what's bad. And it's crushing Caleb. Caleb is that guy, and I want people to realize that Caleb. And I understand a lot of y'all ain't watched Bears games, and why would you? You're not Bears fans, but Caleb is that guy. We have us one. But it's just that the Bears front office just has to. They're so scared of a personality of a coach. You don't want Bruce Arians. You didn't want. Then Flus didn't want Cliff. They saying because his personality was too much. I believe that. Wholeheartedly. I definitely believe that. It's just you're gonna kill another quarterback. We can't go to this again. This has to be it. So man, I just don't like how Caleb was getting killed. And I get this is the age we in. You got Jaden Daniels doing this thing, and it's just bad. And I know a lot of people want Ben Johnson. I want Ben Johnson too. I don't know if we're going to actually get that. I don't know. It might be Cliff Kingsbury. Only thing I will say, I do not want Lincoln Riley. I will say that I do not want Lincoln Riley here. If we don't get Ben Johnson, give me Cliff. Go get Cliff from over there in Washington. Just he's learned some stuff. He's not doing it. He learned some things that seem like losing a head coaching job. So he probably wants to be a head coach again in the NFL. So we shall see there. But it's just sad that I had so much high hopes for this team coming into this season, and now it's like it's Packer week, and I don't even care. Like I'm not even that excited, So it's just bad. Here we are again. But I don't want to lose this quarterback. I think we can still salvage this. Only one season. So many quarterbacks that have bad first seasons. We all know Peyton Manning. If you go look at a lot of your favorite quarterbacks, all-time quarterback, their first 2-3 seasons wasn't even that good. Some didn't even start their first season. So just remember that when we're trying to dissect these quarterbacks and going forward. But I just wanted to give my thoughts on this real quick, 20, 30 minutes of this because it was just so much online, and people was asking me, and so much that I didn't want to type something out and then have to keep going back and forth. I know people still gonna ask questions or have something to say, but I wanted to give them in this form because it was so much I had to get off my chest. So it's just another thing, like Kevin Warren. Like Kevin Warren, every time it's some bullshit coming out, he come out with it comes out some bullshit stadium story. Like, man, listen, bro. Every time I see you, I see what's going on. I know how y'all get down over there in Hallis Hall and Lake Forest. I see how y'all get down. We just want y'all, us fans, because we're gonna be here, the real fan. We're gonna be here regardless. I'm not gonna be saying I'm not gonna be doing this. I may not go to games, but I'm gonna still be here. So I'm looking forward to changes coming. I hope they get this right. I hope they figure this out. I hope they pick the right coach. I hope they don't do like what Adam Rank said. They're gonna have Flus on a secret contract and he will be back next season. After what's going on right now, like after the last 3 games, you cannot bring him back. So he has to be fired. So hopefully they make the right decision there. You can still help Caleb. You can still get this O line fixed. You have to go with the O line. You got all the weapons you need. The defense is good. Fix the O line, fix the D line. We can go from there. But like I said, I want to give y'all my thoughts on this. Everybody was asking me about it. It was just easier this way. So hopefully to all my Bears fans and all my Caleb fans, we get this right. Hey, look, I would still love for us to beat the Packers this week. I would still love that because we haven't in so long, but I'm not that excited for it. I'm going to pay attention for sure because of what's going on now. I was so excited. Every week I was excited for the Bears, but so yeah, I just had to get this off my chest. And man, stop killing. And listen, man, stop killing these quarterbacks like that, man. We gotta give them a chance. At least the first contract. You can't be killing them at the first 2 games. Sometimes some are bad, and I am victim of that too. Some are bad though, because it's still our fault because we overvalue them in college. So yeah, so that's all I got for y'all, man. So until next time, peace.